Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our HashiCorp Solutions Engineering Hangout, hosted by Guy Barros, who today will be presenting on Consul, and specifically how to build a service mesh without Kubernetes. HashiCorp Consul is a multi-cloud service networking platform that enables users to connect and secure services across any runtime platform and public or private cloud. In this session, Guy will be discussing how to take a service from being completely unmanaged by Consul to a fully functioning service mesh in 5 simple steps. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Take it away, Guy.
Cheers, Connor. Thank you very much. Let me share my screen. And thank you everyone for bearing with me with my very clickbaity title. As Connor kind of mentioned, we had a different name for this, 5 steps to service mesh, but because this will eventually end up on YouTube, we gotta go clickbaity. Okay, service mesh, basically an abstraction of where your services are running and being able to connect services that are running in different data centers, in different cloud providers in a secure and observable fashion. Okay? Right, and to do this, we will be using Consul. Right. What are we then going to be doing today? If we think about a very simple system where we have, our system of record and our system of engagement. In this example, it is a chat application. Can't get much simpler than that. We will be getting that application and we will be taking it across different data centers, right? Or at least we'll be taking the chat app itself across the data centers. Our systems of record, MongoDB, will stay where we'll stay put, right? We don't need to replicate our data. The repo for this example itself is on GitHub, and you can see it in very tiny text at the bottom of the presentation, but we'll send them out as links on the follow-up email. And the application itself, I wanted to send a shout out to Easy Sunday, who I shamelessly stolen this from and kind of altered it a bit. Right. Now we will be doing sort of this digital transformation of this application with Consul, and it brings a couple of benefits, right? The first of which is that we can take it across multiple data centers now without rewriting the application. We're just going to do some Consul routing. The other of which is that we can improve the security because we're going to use MTLS across these services, right? They're going to be able to trust each other. And I will be able to say, okay, yeah, my MongoDB only listens to my chat application, and my chat application can only talk to MongoDB. And we're going to be adding active health checks, so we know if that, if our instances of the chat applications are up and running, if they're down, if everything has gone wrong, and it is scalable, right? I can basically add or remove as many instances of the chat application as I need. So yeah, let's jump to it. To do all of this, 5 simple steps. The first of which, of course, starts in creating a Consul cluster and then federating those clusters. And federation basically means my data centers can talk to each other. Right? Then we're going to do the service discovery bit, or add the services to Consul. Then we're going to start interconnecting them with Consul Connect, and then take them across DCs via Consul gateways. Okay. So yeah, step 1. It is, I've set up these Consul clusters on the different data centers using Terraform, of course. And one of the interesting things to note here is that there is this great piece of code that is available, which is called Retry join, that instead of having to provide, each IP for each node of the cluster that you're going to join, you just give it a lovely tag like Consul join, for example, regardless of where I am, AWS, GCP, or Azure, and all of the nodes then find each other and then form a cluster organically. So we don't even kind of need to worry about that. Pretty great. And then once we have our clusters up and running, we need to get them talking with each other. Now, federation, it's really simple. It's one step. So all we need to do is, yep, console join 1, and then the IP of the second data center. So I will just hop onto Google Chrome. Let me just do an exit here for a minute and hop into console. This is the console web UI. And as you can see, we currently only have data center 1 here, and we only have console up and running. So we do have 3 nodes of console. And now let me find my lovely VS Code. Let me go to a secondary IP. Now, I do have a lot of SSH sessions up and running here, but this is mostly for visibility. Like you could, everything can run as a service, so you wouldn't even need to have any SSH sessions. It's a demo, bear with me. So console, join -1, and any IP of any server IP of my second data center. Press enter. Let's do that again. This time correctly. So we do console join -1 and the IP of any of the server nodes from my second data center without the port. Successfully joined 1 cluster. And now if we switch back to our UI here for a minute, what we can see is that now we have a lovely little drop down over here and both our data centers shows up. We still have nothing on them, but at least they're there, right? So let's start adding a couple of things. So that's step 1 done. Step 1 of the books. So now let's start adding services to this, to our console cluster. And services, the way that you add them is via a service definition, right? So what your service definition does is describes the service that is running locally alongside your console agent on that machine, which in this case, we're gonna start from Mongo, right? And what I have here, I'm giving it a name, MongoDB. I'm saying what port the service is available on, 27017, and I'm giving it a health check, right? Which just in this case, it is a simple TCP health check. So it's like, okay, is this port open and listening? If so, we're good to go. And I wanna check this every 10 seconds with a timeout of 1 second. So that means like, all right, 10 seconds have passed. Have I checked this? No, all right, wait another 10 seconds. If it hasn't passed, then I kind of wait and then go again, right? So yeah, let's do this. There we go. My console node is over here. Actually, my MongoDB node is over here. I've just done a couple of facilitators. As part of my Terraform project, I have templates of all of this in console. And then all we need to do is sudo cp copy my non-connect JSON to JSON. And it's exactly the same code as I've just shown on the presentation, right? And now we're gonna go ahead and add this to console services register MongoDB.json. Bam. So if we now look at our UI, we can now see the MongoDB service up there. Perfect. All right. Let's add the chat app here as well, right? And the chat application is going to be very similar, where we're going to say I give it a name, chat. I give it a port. What port is this service available on? And yeah, let's do it. And we're going to use service discovery to help actually our chat application find MongoDB. So I'm just gonna hop on a different node over here, cd mount console. I have, let's do the same thing again. So the CP chat app no connect to chat.json. And we're gonna go ahead and do console services write chat.json. Bam. Console services register. Bam, service register. So let's, again, Chrome, where are you? There you are. Oh, but look, it's failing, right? And actually, if we click into it, we can see the services and we can see that, it's failing the health checks. And if we click into that health check, we can actually see that it's not listing on port 5000. Of course it's not, because I haven't started it yet. All right. So like I said, this is a really simple application that you can find it under Mount Console and the chat app directory. And it is a simple Node.js chat application talking to MongoDB. If you search for a basic sockets example, you will see 5,000 of these. This is just the one that I've chosen. And I've altered it a little bit here and have this lovely run script with a couple of environment variables to help us get started. The first of which is MongoDB server, right? Where is our server? Where is our server? So it's not on localhost. It's in any of these other sessions that I have. And to find them, one of the things that Consul does, because Consul is a service registry, right? And it does tell me where my services are. What I can do is use it for service discovery. Right? Consul has a DNS interface. So what I can do here is just come, mongodb.service.console, save it. And if I haven't gotten anything else wrong, I should be able to just start my chat itself. And after NPM downloads everything it needs, it's now running on port 5000. And if I go back now to my services, yep, chat, it's up and running. So I can just basically now open my chat application on port 5000. Hello world. Let's try that again. Hello world, send. Hey, there we go. And if I now refresh, it's still there, right? So now we have both our services being discovered and registered into Consul themselves. So now we can see them, we have our health checks. Again, if I come over here and I stop my chat application, we will see in 10 seconds from now that it goes unhealthy. Right? So now I'm actively, I have a way of monitoring my applications without having to change the code or anything like that. Right? I've added as part of my service mesh strategy. Step 2, off the record. Okay, that's perfectly fine. So far, we've used Consul only as a service discovery, right? It's still handing off the communication to MongoDB, to the application itself. What it's currently helping me do is just find where the service is via service discovery, right? The DNS interface, mongodb.service.console. Oh wait, I found it, let me connect to it myself. Console Connect, instead of me having to do this, it can actually do this connection for me, right? And the way that it does this is via a sidecar injection. You open up a proxy in near MongoDB. You open up a proxy on your chat application. These create a tunnels between them both. And we talk to each other like we were local hosts, right? Consul and Envoy will just go and do their own things. And how do we do this? Again, first of all, we need to update our service definition to say, well, now we want to use connect and we want to use a sidecar service. So let's go ahead and do that. So again, we have all of our templates here, but now instead of being not connect, we do want to connect and mongodb.json. Enter. Consul services register mongodb.json. Bam, it has been updated. If I look back over here, I now have a different tag on my MongoDB service in MongoDB Connect. I have a new service called MongoDB Sidecar Proxy. Right? Basically, this is my Envoy proxy itself. And all right, how do I start this proxy? Now, do I need to learn Envoy and kind of start doing this? Like, I have to apply Envoy and think about all the writing on all the administration and things like that. No. Consul kind of handles away this complexity for us. We have two types of proxy: the native proxy, which is a layer 4 proxy, and the Envoy proxy, which is layer 7 and uses Envoy. To do a lot of this cross-DC stuff, the Envoy proxy is the one that we use. And to start a sidecar proxy, which pretty much go Consul connect Envoy. We can even give it an administration page. This is, of course, optional. Sidecar for the service ID that we're gonna use. In this case, the service ID is the same as the service name. So let's go ahead and do that. Consul, sorry, forgot the code there. Consul connect Envoy to sidecar for MongoDB. Up and running. Right, so I've created my proxy. If I go back to Consul itself, bam, there it is. So now let's do the same thing for our chat application. And another reason why I have so many windows open, because I want this one to actually have my application itself, I've just SSH'd into the same machine, right? And I can start our proxy from there. Now, before I start this, for the chat application, it's going to be a little bit different, right? Because not only do I need to say, yes, I'm going to use Consul Connect Envoy for this, I am going to say which service will be the upstream. So, right, I'm going to say my chat service talks to my MongoDB service. Right, so I need to add this stanza to my service definition. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's do cp chat app connect. And what was the name that I gave it? Chat.json. Enter. Consul services register chat.json. Now, let's take a look at our service itself. All right, it's still failing because, well, the service is not running yet. My application is not running yet. And the sidecar proxy is failing as well because the sidecar isn't running it either. And then to run it, it's exactly the same process. Consul connect Envoy. Sidecar for chat. It's up and running. If I go back at to my Consul UI, I can see that where before I had 2 failing, now I only have 1 failing, and this actual 1 is the aliasing. Basically, it's like your application, it's not running. So of course, the proxy for it, it's gonna fail as well. But that's pretty cool. So let's start our application, right? As I've defined in the service definition, right? Instead of using port 27011, I'm now going to use port 8888. And I did this just to be a visual reference, saying that we're not actually now going to MongoDB, we're connecting locally. So let's again update our run script over here, right? And now we don't care about the server, where the server is. That's Consul's problem, right? We want to run this from localhost. And now the port is no longer 2017, it's 8888. There we go. All of our services running. And if we try that again, just hit refresh, we should still see our message coming from MongoDB. And hello again via Consul connect envoy. Send message, and that still works. So that is step 3 done. We're really fine now. Okay, perfect. I have now my services in one data center talking via service mesh, right? I have them talking via Consul Connect Envoy. I have the proxies up and running. Let's take this across multiple data centers. Now, to take this across multiple data centers, we're going to be using another Consul feature, Consul Connect Gateways. Right? And to do this, it's basically another service, just like the proxy, where it will then start routing the services themselves. Now, gateways are a great feature. I won't go into why here, but I will point out I have a colleague, Christopher Poole, who has some great material on Consul mesh gateways. But to start a mesh gateway is just as simple as this. Right? Consul Connect Envoy, it's a mesh gateway. I want to register, I want to give it a name. I give it my private IP, I give it my public IP, so an IP that is findable from my other data center. It doesn't necessarily need to be my public IP, and I can give it that admin bind as well. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Mount console ls. In the so you guys don't want to see me running a lot of scripts here. Just gonna run the session. Off we go. Now again, back to console, gateways. It's gonna start. There it is. Right. Cool. So we've done everything that we need to on data center 1. Let's jump into my data center 2. What is it that we want to do? Well, first of all, we do want to do a gateway as well from data center 2. And then we're going to start the service on data center 2 as well. So let's go ahead and get Connor out of the way here. Not that you guys care, but Zoom was in front of me. This is a machine, any machine in data center 2, right? 2, which has restart. Right, and then let's restart this one as well. Perfect. ls cd mount console. And we're just gonna run our gateway on the background, right? So no hub, and to run gateway and change it to the background. Right. We haven't done anything actually extremely useful, but at least now if we look at data center 2, we will see a gateway running there. Cool. So let's SSH into the same machine. Now let's go to Consul. So, okay. Now, before we do anything further, right? That's step 4 then. We now have both gateways up and running, right? We're able to do the next step, service routing. Now, service routing and service resolver are a lot of these reloadable configurations, but what it allows you to do is via gateways, it tells you like, look, if you're looking for, so it allows you to do these layer 7 changes. Things like, yeah, look, if you're looking for a service called MongoDB, that service is in data center 1. Go get it over there, right? And this is called a service resolver, as we can see here. Right? We can also do a couple of other things which are explained in the repo, but not here, which is that we specify that every service must use mesh gateway and that every service must use its own mesh gateway. And these are all reloadable configs. And for the sake of our sanity as well, I did just a nice and simple script that kind of just does all of this for us. And we've seen here that the two gateways kind of updated each other saying, oh, yep, okay, now I know how to do, now I know that I need to look for this. And we can then go ahead and just run a chat at proxy on our bottom bit over here, or we can actually go ahead and register the service on our data center 2 and then run the proxy. That makes a lot more sense. Right? So yeah, sudo cp chat boom connect JSON chat.json, enter console services register chat.json, and now we can run, which of course is still going to fail. Let's go over here because our chat service is not running. So let's cd into the chat application itself. Sudo nano run sh localhost 8888. Enter. And then sudo give it a minute. Oh, there we go. We have now running on port 5000. Now, the only thing that I need to do is grab this IP itself. And I think I am running it from here. Hey, there I am. Oh, and there's our messages. Hello from DC2. Send, come over here, just let's hit refresh. Pay no attention that it hasn't refreshed itself. That's, problem exists between chair and keyboard, but there we go. Consul is now routing all of our traffic from the second data center to MongoDB in data center 1. And without changing our application, we've added health checks. We took it across DCs. We've simplified the connection, and we are looking good. We've also done, all of our 5 steps. that needed to digitally transform this application, basically take this application across data center. Right? Yeah. 5 steps, correct, to do all of this, or we could have done it in 1 step using Nomad, right? Because Nomad has already Consul integration for it, it also has Consul Connect integration for it. That means in the same way that we deploy our applications, we can tell it to use Consul Connect, and it kind of does this whole setup for us by itself. And I do have the link here into how that would look like. Yep, there it is. It's the same thing, just simplify the deployment of it. We don't even need to worry. And yeah, that does bring us to the end of our session. I think I am within my 45-minute limit. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Let me just come back over here so you guys can see my email and share my screen again. Yeah, reach out. I am available on LinkedIn or via email. It's always a pleasure to talk Consul and Nomad.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Guy. Really appreciated. So everyone, if you liked what you heard today and you want to start exploring Consul, I really encourage you to check out our new Learn site. You can find that at learn.hashicorp.com/Consul. As I say, I hope you enjoyed today's Hangout and have a better understanding of how to create a fully functioning service mesh using HashiCorp Consul. Thanks for hanging out with us today. A big thank you to Guy for his time, and thanks for joining us. Have a great day. Goodbye.
Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.